Hello and welcome to Promenade Française. I've finally done it. I have completed the whole, well, wait. I finished half of the exercise for the verb voir. Now, the interesting thing about French is that you need to understand two extremely important things about creating a sentence. First, let's pick a verb. So the verb that we're picking is voir. It means to see. And what do we need to know? Right now, we're only using pronouns. We're putting a pronoun at the beginning of the sentence and we're putting a pronoun at the end of the sentence. And when you use pronouns, it's very helpful to have pronouns because of two reasons. One reason is that you don't have to learn a whole bunch of words and you just have to learn the pronouns. And then also, you're always going to be using pronouns in your speech. And so obviously you need to understand how you would change a pronoun or how a pronoun changes a verb, depending on the sentence. Remember that you can access this exercise if you go to the top link in the link tree above, and the blog article is called Under Construction. Go into that blog article and there is a Google Drive link. And if you open that Google Drive link, you're going to be looking at the document that I'm looking at right now. All right, so now that you are in this video, I would recommend opening that document because you're going to be able to find the exercise that I'm referring to right now, and you're going to be able to do the exercise yourself. Look at the exercise for the word voir, to see, and you can see two pictures. There's an image of Marie, and there is an image of Madame Moreau. And in the first line, it says, Madame Moreau asks Marie, Qui vois-tu? All right, so the first thing that you notice, the question basically means who can you see or who do you see? And she uses the word tu. So Madame Moreau, she's a little bit older, and Marie is younger, and Madame Moreau uses the informal word for you. Qui vois-tu? Now, if you look, it says number one next to the question, Qui vois-tu? In column 1, you can see it also says Qui vois-tu next to the number 1. And it says Madame Moreau asks. All right, so you can see the connection between the words between the two images and then the column. So first, we're going to answer this question using Marie. And basically what you say is, okay, so in the first row, the word is myself. And in the exercise today, we're only going to be using singular pronouns. And I'm talking about the subject pronoun. So for example, Marie, she's the one who's going to be answering the question, and she is the subject. So she says, I see myself. And how do we say this in French? I see myself. She's the subject. She sees, that's the verb, and myself. So that's the object. I see myself. And you'll notice that, first of all, when we say je, then the verb is going to be conjugated vois, V-O-I-S. Myself, now if you look just above the box, it says singular. And in this, next to the word singular, you can see m, t, s, le, la, vous, les, and nous. And this is for the object position. So at the second part, the thing which is being seen, what does Marie see? She sees the object. And when we put a pronoun in the object position, then we need to change the pronoun. That's the same in English. So just like I say, I see myself in English, in French, we say je for I and me for myself. And the other weird thing is that they put the me in front of the verb. So she's saying, I myself see. Je me vois. All right, now we go to row number 2. So in row number 2, because Marie is answering Madame Moreau, she's using No, sorry. You can see in brackets it says Madame Moreau reply. So in fact, we don't use this one when Marie is replying. All right, so let's go down to the next row. In the next row, it says je, and for him, we're going to say le, je le vois. I, him, see, or in English, I see him. And for she, we say la, je la vois. I see her. So Marie is saying, I see her, I see him, I see myself. And now you can see the difference between informal and formal with the next row. She says, je vous voir. I see you. In this case, Marie is looking at Madame Moreau. Madame Moreau is older. We use formal, and she says, je vous vois. All right, next row, it says, we're talking about them. So for them, it's going to be les, and that's for masculine and feminine, les. Je les vois. And finally is the last row. It says us. So Marie, she sees Madame Moreau and herself. Us is nous. Je nous vois. So in each of these cases, you can see how the subject pronoun makes the verb into voir. So now if we start with column 1 and now look into column 2, you can see that voir turns into voyez. No, in French it's voyer. And then voyer, when we use tu, then it's voir. And when we use il, elle, it's spelt differently, but it's also pronounced voir. So all of these are subject pronouns, and they influence how the verb changes, how we conjugate the verb. And then, like I said before, the object pronoun, it just depends on who the object is. All right, so let's stay in column number 1. Now, in column number 1, the only difference is when Marie asks Madame Moreau. So if you go back up to the text between Marie's image and Madame Moreau's image, you see Marie asks Madame Moreau. And then in column number 1, you see qui voyez-vous? Who do you see? And she's using voyez-vous because it's formal. She's asking Madame Moreau, who do you see? The response is the same. So she says, I see myself, je me vois. I see you, and in this case, it's the informal because Madame Moreau is looking at Marie. Je vois. Je le vois, je la vois. It does not say je vous vois. She doesn't use vous when she's talking to Marie. Then it's the same for je les vois and je nous vois. All right, so if you look into column number 2, that also connects with the question above. Madame Moreau asks Marie. And why is it important that Madame Moreau is asking Marie? It's because Marie is going to answer using the formal you. All right, so she says, you, vous me voyez, you see me. Vous le voyez, you see him. Vous la voyez, you see her. You see, all of these begin with vous. And you'll notice that I made the one box a little bit gray. She doesn't say vous te voyez. It doesn't make sense. You see yourself, but the you, the first you, the subject you is formal, and then the object you is informal. Doesn't make sense. Now that's opposite in column number 3. So when Madame Moreau asks Marie, then we don't use tu vous voir. You don't say that tu, informal you, vous, yourself, it formally. All right, so I grayed out that one too. And then finally, you can see in the 5th, number 5 and number 6, Madame Moreau or Marie can ask the same questions. Who does she see or who does he see? And likewise, you can go through all those columns in order to understand how to use the subject and the object pronouns. So go ahead and find that fantastic exercise, and let's keep learning French.